Welcome everyone to this episode. I had this great question, and I'm asked this often, and it's, why do I need a mortgage before I buy a house? Obviously this applies to people who are getting a mortgage to purchase a home, they're getting financing, and they're not paying cash for the home. So what you want to do is you want to get what's called a pre-approval before even looking at houses, because how do you know where you're going to be? How do you know where your budget is? How do you know how much you'll get approved for? You might think that you could shop in, let's say, the $300,000 range, but if you're only approved and you find out too late for, let's say, $250,000, you wasted your time and everybody else's time involved. And it saves you time when you actually locate a home. Now, when I work with buyers, and many realtors do this, if not all, they should be doing this, you gotta have that pre-approval first, because when you send an offer over to the home seller or the home seller's agent, the listing agent, they're going to wanna see if you are pre-approved. So they're gonna wanna see your offer on top of your pre-approval letter. You should have a one-page pre-approval letter that says, hey, we looked at credit, we looked at income verification, we verified income, and we looked at collateral or assets, and anything else, right? Savings accounts, whatever you have, stocks, whatever, cash in the bank. So you want to make sure that you have a pre-approval before actually even going out and looking. Now, there's nothing wrong with driving by houses and peeking at neighborhoods and getting a feel for what area you want to live in. You can do that first, absolutely. But before actually going out with an agent, you want to make sure that you're pre-approved. I don't know of any realtor that will work with a home buyer unless they're pre-approved. When I take a phone call and someone says, I'd like to see a house, or I'd like to shop for homes, I say, okay, great. Let me have you speak with the lender first, because they're going to go over your budget and the potential costs, right? If you're approved for $300,000, and that's just a nice even number I'm throwing out there. If you're approved for $300,000, you'll know how much that will cost per month, and your taxes will be estimated, right? It's just an estimate because taxes vary depending on the area you choose. So during the underwriting process, when you have a home, you have an address, and they are going through the process, they're going to look at, again, credit history and your capability of paying them back. Are you high risk? Are you low risk? Where's your credit at? By the way, when you hear about interest rates and you hear that, okay, a 30-year fix, for example, is at, right now it's 2024, and it's at 6.5%, right? Like 6.57 for 30-year fixed. You're thinking, okay, I'm gonna, kind of calculate that on my own and say, okay, 6%, 6.5%, great, that'll cost me X amount, right? Or if you're if you're somewhat pre-approved for that, that's great, because they looked at your credit. But if they didn't look at your credit and you're assuming you're going to get 6.5%, but they pull your credit, and let's say your credit on a scale of ABC, let's say your credit is average, you're not qualifying for that 6.5%. You're qualifying for a higher rate. Could be 7, could be 8%. It just depends. And if you're, let's say, self-employed, your rate will be higher no matter what, even if you have perfect credit, because you're higher risk when you're self-employed, which I think is crazy. I just think that's nuts, because somebody who controls their own income, their own destiny, right? They create a job for themselves, shouldn't be hit with the rate. But that's what banks do. They consider self-employed borrowers higher risk, so therefore the rate goes up. So, those are things that you can find out if you get a simple pre-approval. So I hope you found this episode valuable. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you're watching this on Rumble or YouTube or wherever you are. Just go ahead and follow me. My social media links are in the description below, and I appreciate you watching this episode. Oh, go ahead and visit my website, JasonGelios.com. Thank you.